The editing process demystified, from first draft to finished manuscript. So if you're watching this video, chances are that you've finished writing your first draft. Congratulations! This is a great, huge step towards becoming a published author. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to edit your novel. I'm going to go through my editing process and share some secrets that I've learned along the way. For those of you who's new around the channel, my name is Natalie. I'm a writer, published author, and a growth marketer. I have been writing professionally for more than 10 years. I used to work as a content creator and a journalist, and now I'm in marketing. And I'm thrilled to guide you through this crucial step of the writing process. So grab your favorite writing tool. But before we begin, let's talk about the significance of editing. Writing is just the first step of the writing process. It's in the editing and in the revising that the real magic happens. A lot of beginner writers underestimate this step of the process and does not think it's as important as it actually is. So remember, this can make the difference between you getting a publishing deal or not. Editing is where we refine our ideas, breathe life into our characters, and tighten our plots. Editing is the key to turning a rough gem into a sparkling, marvelous, finished manuscript that will captivate your readers. But it can be overwhelming. So fear not, because I've created a step-by-step guide that you can follow. And step number 1 is to take a break. The reason why you should take a break: step away from the manuscript, don't read it, try not to think about it, don't do anything. The reason why is because when you've finished a first draft, you're in too deep to your manuscript, and you won't be able to look at it in an objective manner. That is why you need to take a break from it, so that you can try to experience it for the first time. I try to take a break at least a few weeks, and my recommendation is at least 1 week, preferably more than a month. And once you've done this, it's time for the next step. Step number 2 is the structural editing. When it comes to structural editing, the first thing that I actually do after taking a break from the manuscript is to take it and reread the entire thing without, not taking notes or anything, but just trying to experience it as if it's the first time I'm reading it. So I'm trying to put myself in my reader's shoes and see. And the reason why is because I want to stop and I want to ask myself a few questions. The questions I'm asking myself when I reread the manuscript is: what's the theme of the story? Are there any major plot holes that I need to fix? What do I love about the story? And what are the key elements that's from my genre? And I also look and see is the story good? Do I like the story? It's something not to underestimate, And after I've reread the entire thing, I will look at the big picture. I will look at the story structure, I will look at the plot, and I will look at character arcs. And a few questions that I can ask myself here is, does the plot flow logically? Are my characters' motivations clear? Are there any plot holes? And I will also look at the outline to see if these pieces fall together. And this is where we're different. So some people are spontaneous writers and some people are plotters and planners. And I used to be a pantser. So I used to just write and be very spontaneous. But now I'm a plotter and planner, and that has saved me a lot of work in revision. But when I was a pantser, at this stage, I actually had to go back and create an outline, like backtrack an outline. Because writing an outline with all the plot turns and all the chapters, like a few sentences about each chapter, that is the only way for you to get a bird's eye view, to get an overview of your manuscript and see if the plot is tight enough. You can't hold 75,000 words in your head at the same time and, you know, look at it like that. You have to have an outline at this stage to see if the key elements are there. So if you have not created an outline before, do it at this stage, because you will also need it for the next step in the editing process. And once I've looked at the big picture stuff, step number 3 is to look at the character arcs or the character's development. One of the reasons why we love stories and why we love reading so much is because we want to see characters grow and change so that we can grow with them. And that is why character development is so important. So at this stage, I usually read through the manuscript again and I look at the character arc of my main character and of the important characters of the story. I usually write down the character arcs in the same document that I outline in, and I ask myself the questions: how my characters are evolving throughout the story, if I need to develop them anymore, and I also ask myself, does this character have an inner and an outer conflict that is, clear enough for the reader? Did the reader understand the motivation of my characters? And another nugget here is that you can see how the character arcs, how they hone into the all over plot, and they should complement each other. And I actually made a video about character arcs, so if you want to watch that one, I will link it in the description below. Step number 4, dialogue and pacing. In this step, I try to make sure that my characters' voices are unique and that the dialogue flows naturally. A great way to try if the dialogue actually works is to read the dialogue out loud. I recommend, if you have the patience for it, read the entire manuscript out loud, because it's also a great way to see if your pacing is good enough. A way to create, the thing with pacing is that you don't want the manuscript to go fast all the time and you don't want it to go slow all the time. You need to create this the ups and downs, and think of it as creating a piece of music somehow. If you want your pacing to increase, write shorter sentences. That makes the story go faster. If you want it to decrease, you can either write longer sentences or you can use more show instead of tell. By using show, especially in important scenes, like this is a scene that is really significant, then slow it down so that the reader actually understands it, and use show. What does it smell like where they are? What does it feel like? How, what are the sounds around them? I don't, like, some people say you should use show all the time, but I think you don't have to, but you should definitely use it in important scenes. So yeah, make sure to do that and look at the pacing throughout your entire story. Step number 5, my least favorite, but it needs to be done, is line editing. And here I look at grammar and I look at spell checking. So it is a crucial part to go through your manuscript and look at all the grammar, do spell checking, and go through the best way to do this, or the most I guess efficient way, it takes a lot of time, but it's the most efficient way, is to go through your manuscript line by line. That's why it's called line editing. And when I do this, I usually take the book Svenska språkregler, Swedish language rules, and I have that close to me so that I can look up stuff that has to do with the Swedish language. I usually write in Swedish since it's my native tongue. But yeah, that book has really helped me with some major things. I usually don't care about grammar or spelling until this step. The reason why is because in the previous steps I may end up deleting whole scenes or whole chapters, so I don't want to waste the time of going through the grammar. And also the reason why I go through my manuscript so many times and just focus on one thing after another is because if I try to focus on everything, nothing will get done. If I start changing grammar when I'm actually trying to get good dialogue or trying to look at the big picture, nothing will get done. Step number 6 is to let other people see your work. Send out your manuscripts for feedback, either through, like, if you have a writers group, a critique group, share it with them, or get some beta readers. This is a great way to get someone else's opinion on things, because you will be blind to your own work. We all are, especially once we've edited it and worked on it so much. So getting an outsider's view is a crucial step to improving your story even more. And if you can afford it, I highly recommend hiring a professional editor, especially if you're planning on self-publishing. I think this is a have-to step. Like, don't skip it, because they will do a lot of work for you. It will turn your manuscript from okay to hopefully to great. But even if you're not planning on self-publishing, I think if you can afford it, then do hire a professional editor. It will help you improve your manuscript a lot. And some closing thoughts. Remember that editing is a journey, and it's perfectly normal for you to go through multiple rounds of editing. Both I and a lot of professional writers edit quite a few times, especially when we're beginning our writer's journey. So be patient with yourself and keep honing your craft. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And subscribe to my channel for more writing and storytelling tips. Happy writing! Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you have any questions, leave a comment, or if you want me to do a video on anything specific, leave a comment. And until next time, keep writing, keep editing, and keep improving your craft. Bye!